One area there is no question is who the two goaltenders are going to be to start the season. I think that's pretty clear. Joonas Korpisalo and Anton Forsberg. I like to state the obvious early on in the show. They are obviously 1A and 1B. The only question there is, I think, is who's going to play more games. I really like Korpisalo. I don't really care about the contract. People are like, oh, they've signed him too long. Doesn't matter. But what I have heard from players this summer who have watched Anton Forsberg on the ice and have been against him, he looks really, really good. Like, there's a thought among the players that he could emerge as the number one guy.
They would have a good pulse on who looks better.
Now, that being said, Korpisalo hasn't been here except for the last week.
Right.
But they're just saying that Anton Forsberg looks really good coming off the double MCL injury from last season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he certainly has had the time to strengthen it, get better. I don't think you sign a $5 million goalie without thinking he's your starter on night one.
Well, they did Matt Murray.
Yeah, fair enough. I think they're making decisions differently now, though. I think that they brought Joonas Korpisalo in because they had conversations, and he's a guy that played in the playoffs. He was okay in the playoffs, I think, for me, but he's got some experience. I think he's your guy, but I don't think that they're looking at this as 1-2. They're looking at this as 1A and 1B, and I think that these two goalies are going to play more than most 1 and 2, right? Situations. It's not like Vasilevsky where you have to roll him 70 times and hope that you win 12 games with somebody else. You got two good, legitimate goaltenders here.
Well, it is interesting because only 17 goalies played 50 games or more last season. There's that whole thing of playing 60 games a year. Obviously, as everybody knows, is long gone. It'll be interesting to see. And I think that number comes down every year. How many guys play 50 games this year?
Load management, the new word. It's real. It's here. It's hey, that's funny too. Speaking of Vasilevsky, it'd be a great trivia question. Name Tampa's backup. Most people in hockey wouldn't be able to say that. Like the most casual fan would have no idea who it is because it's a one-man show there. But I'm with Bob. I think it's to start. You roll both guys. And I love playing with Finnish players because I've never played. They used to have this saying, I've never met a bad Swede. Most of the Finns, they're just hard-working guys, especially the goaltenders. Long gone are the days. I remember playing with some goalies, Bob, where if you shot high on them in practice, there'd be a tomahawk stick just flying at your head after.
Yeah. Yep.
We had when we had Tom Barrasso, Wally. If you shot over his pads in warm up, the stick was coming at your head. Like
yes,
it was nuts. But these two guys, like, I love the story about Forsberg. We talked about this last year on the pod, on the bike, Christmas Day in the dressing room. Like, how many guys are doing that? And then he came back and had that nice little stretch. So Korpisalo, I think it's a great signing. I think these guys will be good. I think they'll be one of the best tandems in the East.
Well, I'm going to later in the show ask you to rank the 8 goaltending batteries in the Atlantic Division and see where you come out with that. All right?
Gotcha.
Korpisalo, by the way, did have the outstanding run when he got to LA at the end of the year. I think he played 11 games. I feel he was 7-3-1 down the stretch in LA. His numbers were extremely good. So if he can bring that into here, and that goes to show, and you guys can back me up here, if you play in a different defensive system of how different you can look number-wise based on wherever your coaching situation is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't want Korpisalo in what was going on last year in the Sens zone.
Yeah. No. You can't play fire wagon hockey with Korpisalo. You gotta have some structure in front of him, and he'll reward you.